Peace and love everyone, this is the Rebar man, and of course for our first tutorial we're gonna go with rebars and reinforcements. So I'm just gonna open a new structural template. Okay, I'm just gonna adjust this a bit. And alright, so the first thing you're gonna do is go to the south elevation and increase level 2 and make it 5000. Then we're gonna go to level 1 and set our grids. Can set it like so, then pick lines, offset it by 5000, then take this back to 0, and set our horizontal grid. So we can just place this in the middle. Okay, so we're gonna go now to the structure and place our isolated footing, then place it on our grid lines like this, then escape, select both of the footings, and we're gonna change their parameters by going to edit type, duplicate, okay, then change the width to 1800 and the foundation thickness to 600. Here we go. Then we're gonna select our column and select our concrete column 600 by 700 and place it on top of our footings. Then we're going to select our column, control select, then go to edit type, then we're going to make our column symmetrical, duplicate, okay, and change the 750 to 600. Alright, now we're going to adjust the levels for our column. So the top level we're going to change it to level 2, the base level at level 1 is fine, but the base offset we're just going to make it 0. Apply, then okay. So when we go to the south elevation, this is what we have. Now we're gonna go to level 2, and as you can see on level 2 we are unable to see our footings, but that can change by typing in VR for view range and setting these to unlimited. Apply and okay. Then we're gonna place our beam, go to concrete beam and place it from center to center. Escape, select our beam, go to edit type, duplicate, okay, and change our breadth to 600. Here we go. Now we're just gonna go to the 3D view and see what we have. And this is what we have. Now it's time to reinforce this bad boy. Now we can just go to level 2 and set our sections. Now go to sections, and our first section you can just place it like this, and go to sections again, and you can just place it right in the middle of this beam like this, and you can reduce the view range like this. Now we're gonna go to our section 2 to view our beam. So here is our beam. So the first thing we're gonna do before reinforcement is check our cover. So I'm gonna go click cover, and as you can see, these hatched boundary lines show where the cover ends, and on the inside is where we can place bars. So basically when it comes to the cover we have two options, which is the peak elements and the peak faces. Now the peak elements it has to do with the whole beam. So basically, when I select the beam, the whole of the beam is highlighted. And here on the cover settings, we have different sets of covers, 75 millimeters, 40 millimeters, 50 millimeters, and so on. So when I use pick elements and choose perhaps the 75 millimeter cover, all the sides of the beam will have an offset of the cover of 75 millimeters, as opposed to the peak faces. So if I could go to the peak faces and perhaps select this side of the beam and change its cover perhaps to 50 millimeters, only that side will have an offset of 50 millimeters. And if I go to the bottom face of this beam and change it perhaps to 20 millimeters, only that side of the beam will have an offset cover of 20 millimeters. So you can even go so far as adding your own cover by going to edit cover settings and add your own, and perhaps you can make this 25 millimeters and okay, because there are different standards for different countries. So I usually go with 25 millimeters. So I can just go to pick elements, select the whole beam, go to cover and pick 25 millimeters. So this is what we have. Now for reinforcement, we can just go to the rebar, then click OK. Then we can just scroll down and select this shape. We can just make it 16, and for our placement plane we can just use the current work plane, and for our placement orientation we can just use parallel to work plane. So this is what we have. If you can hover over this beam, it will show where the where the stirrups will be situated. Now to see things clearly, we can just change the detail level from coarse to fine, and this is what we have. So after this, you can just go to the 3D section and select the stirrup and go to the layout, change it from single to maximum spacing, and change the spacing from 100 to perhaps 150. And this is what we have. So now we're gonna go to level 1 to place our bars. Section 1, excuse me. So this is what we have on section 1. You can just change the detail level from coarse to fine. And as you can see, some of the stirrups at the end intersect with the columns. So you can just select these stirrups and go to presentation, go to select and deselect these two, then finish. So we're gonna add our bars now. Go back to rebar. You can just scroll upwards and you can select this shape. Then you can just select 32. So for the placement plane, you can just go to far cover reference, and our placement orientation, it's fine if you can leave it at parallel to work plane, and we can just place it like this. So the reason we are going with the hooked bar at the end is to counter for the negative bending moment that happens. So you can just place our bottom bars like this. And as you can see, our bottom bar and our top bars intersect with each other. So you can just select the bottom bar and adjust it like this, and you can drag it down like this, and do the same on the other side. Select the bottom bar, drag it like this, and bring it down like this. Now we can go to the 3D section and see what we have. So this is what we have. First, you can just select the bottom bar, go to the layout, change it from single to maximum spacing, and change the spacing from 100 to 200 millimeters. Now we have 4 of them. Do the same for the top bar. Select it, go to the layout, change it from single to maximum spacing, and the spacing from 100 to 200 millimeters. And this is what we have. Now for the 3D section, even if you can change the detail level from coarse to fine, nothing happens, but the trick is to just select these, go to filter, check none, select the structural rebar, apply, OK, and go to view visibility, and at the 3D row you can just go to the view as solid, select it, and OK. So it is well represented now. You can see it more clearly. Now it's time to reinforce our footings. We can just go to the section 1 and go to cover. Then pick element, select our footing, set our cover to 25 millimeters, and escape. Now we can place our rebars on the footing. Now you can just scroll upwards and we can select this shape right here. Now for the placement plane, we can just go with far cover reference, and the placement orientation we can still go with the parallel to work plane and place our rebars. Let's just change it from 32 to 16, and we can place our rebars like this. Now you can go to the 3D section and select our rebar, go to layout, change it from single to maximum spacing, and I think it's fine at 100 mm spacing. Now go to level 2, and you can just select this section 2 and drag it to the other side of the footing, so you may see this footing on your section 2. Now go back to section 2, go back to and go down, then you can place your rebar again. You can just go down like this. Here you go. Now notice that this doesn't make any sense because they intersect with each other, so you can just grab your newly appointed rebars and just drag it upwards so that they don't intersect with each other, and you can just drag it on the sides to the side and do it again for the other side. Now you can go to the 3D section and just select it, go to the layout, change it from single to maximum spacing, and it's fine at 100 millimeters. Now you can just select these and go to filter, check none, check the structural rebar, apply, OK, and go to the view visibility and change the 3D view by checking it view as solid and press OK. So this is what we have. So basically we are done with the footing. Now we can go and reinforce our columns. Now go to section 1 and we can just go to the cover again, go to pick element, select our column, go to the rebar cover 25 millimeter, escape, Then go to the rebar and you can just scroll down. Then you can just select this shape and go for the placement plane. It's fine at far cover reference, but the placement orientation you can just set it to parallel to cover, and we can just go like place it like this. So, and you can just select this setup, go to the layout, change it from single to maximum spacing. For a column it usually takes so long. Okay, now you can just select this column and go to the rebar sets, change the spacing from 100 to 150. Okay, this is what we have. As you can see, the stirrups for the column intersect with the beam rebars, so that doesn't make any sense. So you can just select the column stirrups and go to presentation, click select and deselect the stirrups that intersect with the beam rebars. Then you can just go with finish. Alright, here we go. Now you can just go to the 3D section and select this, go to filter, check none, check the structural rebar, apply, OK. Go to view visibility, then view as solid for the 3D, click OK, and this is what we have. Now you can just select the column along with the footing, go to filter, check none, check the structural rebar, apply, OK, and go to level 2. Then select the draw axis, mirror axis, and just go to the middle of the beam, and where you see this triangle midpoint, just place your draw axis there and drag it down so that those rebars may be copied to another column and footing. Okay, this is what we have. So you can just set this to fine, and set our visual style to wireframe so we can see how the rebars and reinforcements are arranged. Now we can go to the 3D section and select these and go to filter, check none, check the structural rebar, apply, OK. Go to view visibility, edit, and click view as solids, and this is what we have. So what we can do now is change the colors of these reinforcements so we can able to differentiate between which one is which. So you can just click this one, right click, go to override graphics in view, by element, and background, change it to solid, then the color, make it perhaps blue. OK, apply, OK. Then you can just click these rebars also, right click, override graphics in view by element, and the pattern, change it to solid fill, the color to red. Click OK, apply, OK. Then you do the same thing for these ones. Click the top rebars of the footings, right click, override graphics in view by element, pattern to solid fill, color, make it blue, okay, apply, then okay. The bottom rebars of the footings selected, right click, override graphics in view by element, pattern to solid fill, color, red, okay, apply, okay. Now for the stirrups, column stirrups, you can just select them, right click, override graphics in view by element, background, pattern solid fill, color, make them red, apply, okay. The same thing for these stirrups also. Now of course our column requires some vertical bars. We can just go to the section 1, then we can place our bars, then go to rebar again. You can just scroll upwards and pick the first one. Now for the placement plane, you can just select current work plane, and for the placement orientation you can just select perpendicular to cover. Placement plane, file cover reference, and let's just see. Oh yeah, and the placement orientation parallel to work plane. So you can just select 32 and place it like this. Now of course I want this bar to run down until it reaches the footing, so I'm just gonna select it, edit sketch, and just select this line, drag it down, and select this line and add a horizontal line and just place it like this. And as you can see, this black curving line guides us on how this reinforcement will be set on this footing. So you can just click finish, and this is what we have. So you can just drag it down like this. Remember, it doesn't have to intersect this top footing reinforcement. So now you can just select this and select pick axis for the mirror and select this grid line, so you can take it to the other side, and this is what we have. Now you can select both of these, control select, and go to level 2, go to pick axis, and you can just pick this grid line, and this is where your rebars will be situated. And it's a good thing they don't intersect with these. So you can just select this rebar and select copy, and you can just go to the middle of this rebar and select it and copy it to the middle, just in the middle of this column right here. And you can just select this rebar you have copied and select the pick axis and pick this grid line so you can copy it to the other side. Now we have 6 rebars for them, and the corner ones, the ones at the corner, we can just rotate them at 45 degrees, and the ones in the middle we can just leave them at the 180 degrees. So you can just select this one, go to rotation, go to center of rotation, place, and you can just go over this reinforcement and just place it on the middle like this, and select, rotate it for 45 degrees. Then do the same for the rest of them. Selected, go to rotation, center of rotation, select, place it on the middle, and rotate it 45 degrees. Same as this one, select, go to rotation, center of rotation, place it in the middle, select, and rotate it for 45 degrees. And of course the last one, rotation, center of rotation, place it in the middle, select, and turn it 45 degrees. So when we go to the 3D section, you can clearly see them, but we can change the detail views of this bar by selecting them. Just make sure you can see them. Control select, and go to view visibility and view as solid. Then you can just right click, override graphics in view by element, go to the background, the pattern, solid fill, the color, change it to blue, okay, apply, then okay. So this is what we have. So we can just select these bars, control select, just select them like this, then go to level 2, then select axis and go to the middle of this beam until you find this triangle of midpoint, and select and drag it down so those rebars may be copied to another beam. Go to 3D, then you can just select this, go to filter, check none, structural rebar, apply, okay, and go to view visibility, edit, then view as solid, okay. Then you can just select these column rebars so you can change their color. Right click, override graphics in view by element, background, change the pattern to solid fill and the color to blue. Okay, apply, okay. So we are almost done. Now we can just change the color of these hooks. You can first start, first you can just select these stirrups. As you can see on the 3D section, they still overlap. Then there are two arrows there, and you can just select the top arrow and drag these down. Drag them down until you can see this a hashed blue line that guides you where you can stop. There you go. Now you can select the top hooked rebars of this beam and right click, override graphics in view by element, go to background, select solid fill, then the color, change it to yellow, then apply, okay. Then select the bottom hooked rebars for this beam, right click, override graphics in view by element, change the pattern to solid fill, then the color to orange, okay. apply, then OK. Then you can just select the setups for this beam and right click, same process again, go to background, solid fill, and change the color to green, then apply, OK. Then you can just select the setups for this column and select the top arrow and drag it down until you see the blue hatch line that guides you on where to stop. Alright, so this is basically it, reinforcements of our columns. Now you can change the visual style of this 3D section and by going to shaded, but as you can see we cannot see our stirrups and rebars. So the trick to that is just select the whole of this, go to filter, check none, check the structural rebar, apply, OK, go to view visibility and go to this 3D view section and go to and click on view unobscured and click OK. So now you can see through these shaded structural members. So this is what we have. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. I hope you can like, subscribe and share and comment on the comment section. I thank you guys and see you on Friday for the special projects. Peace.